let's talk about enterprise AI, the ModelOps capability emerging in the enterprise, and specifically our ModelOp Center, which can help an organization really enable that capability in a scalable, repeatable way, given all the complexities in the large enterprise in their overall enterprise AI journey. What's exciting today is that the industry really is organizing themselves for and around this large Fortune 500 enterprise AI journey. And all the analysts, several of the thought leaders in the enterprise space have started to very crisply articulate both the need for enterprise AI as a transformative journey, but also some of the specific challenges that are facing the enterprise. And here I want to focus on kind of a foundational challenge. AI ultimately is about models being put into business in a repeatable, scalable, effective way for all aspects of decisioning that reach all the way up into the business landscape and all the way down to the lowest level of technical consideration. And today we see that there really has been a significant investment in data science and model building, what the industry is starting to call model factories. All the tools and processes and best practices to create models with historical data. That's on the left here in this slide, the upper left. And we're really in a place in 2019 and going into 2020 where kind of the C-suite of the large enterprise across several different industries, financial services, insurance, manufacturing, just to name a few, are clearly committed to bringing AI models in a transformative way into business and really starting to develop systemically and systematically that enterprise AI capability. The challenge has been, and this has also been well articulated by others, both analysts and thought leaders coming from the large enterprise, the challenges, however, to getting these models into business are profound. And while there's been a lot of talk about technical challenges, that could be, hey, how do we get these ML models deployed, into a hybrid cloud situation, or I have TensorFlow models, and how do I containerize those properly, or what's the relationship with the myriad of complexity in data? It's the business challenges that also are often and more recently being highlighted. Like, what are the KPIs? What are the key performance indicators? How do we even measure how fast we can go on this enterprise AI journey? What are all the different business units that are leveraging AI? What's the actual risk and accountability to the business perspective? Is there governance? All these things. So there's a number of business challenges, obviously the statistical and mathematical challenges, because this is a data science centric investment, and then just a dizzying array of technical challenges. So these are the challenges facing the enterprise that have to be overcome for enterprise AI to have the transformative benefits that I think everyone is now committed and can see is happening. What's really encouraging in this latter part of 2019 and coming into 2020 is that the solution to these business, mathematical, and technical challenges is also being well defined with real requirements in the industry by both industry participants, actual Fortune 500 companies that have been doing this for a while, as well as analysts and other core industry organizers. And so ModelOps, this as a capability, hashtag ModelOps, is really emerge as the solution in terms of specific requirements to break that AI crunch, if you will, the challenges of getting models into business. And that really centers around three key capabilities: deploy, monitor, and govern. And again, what we'll see now as the industry organizes around ModelOps as a foundational capability to automate and scale AI, given the tremendous complexities in the Fortune 500 and large enterprise around these three solutions: deploy, monitor, and govern. What we'll see is as that becomes more solidified foundationally, all the other pieces, model factories, data ops, the journey to the cloud, IT, right? How businesses are transforming from a regulatory and governance perspective, all of those become more concrete in their focus. In order to make that extremely concrete, we have developed and is available and deployed in large enterprises ModelOp Center. And you can think of that as like a nerve center or an organizing principle that's a concrete software solution specifically designed to handle the complexities of the large enterprise, specifically meeting those exact requirements to solve the challenges, the foundational challenges that ModelOps is really organizing to solve, including deployment of models, monitoring of models, and really, in some sense, most importantly, the governance of all the models in the AI landscape for a large enterprise, and a single pane of glass, again, an organizing tool for the large enterprise to have one place to see where models are, what business units they've been have commissioned models, where every model is in their life cycle in production, how they're performing, the ability to break fix models in production and pull in all the constituent important stakeholders and all the important integrations. On the left, all the very vast variety of model factories, and we see in our customer base more and more model factories coming out that might be tools like Jupyter or RStudio. It might be more comprehensive products like a data robot or data IQ. All the kind of model factory organization is starting to proliferate in the large enterprise. Data platforms, data is in a variety of places, as everyone knows in the large enterprises, and different data sets need to be part of that model factory journey, as well as on a per model basis, part of production. All the IT tooling, both hybrid and in the cloud, the applications. Again, you might have application affinity where something has to be in the cloud or maybe on-prem because the data has PII requirements. And then most importantly, the accountability to the business. So all of that integration with those existing functions, including software delivery, data science functions, are gracefully handled with ModelOp Center as they provide the core solutions meeting those requirements of deployment, governing, and monitoring. This also enables the organizational structure in a large enterprise to start to evolve for that enterprise journey. And really, there are many roles here. You can see, the line of business owners that really are getting the top level benefit and incurring the main risk for models, right? In terms of both KPIs and other risk metrics and accountability, approvals, those kinds of things. Data scientists charged with designing the models, ideation, being very creative around the ML process. DevOps, data ops, IT ops to get models deployed in terms of the existing infrastructure and the existing investments that typically are used for traditional software deployment. Models are not traditional software. Actually, they can leverage many large portions of traditional software lifecycle, but also has specific requirements to handle their accountability to the business and some of the technical challenges with respect to models. And finally, kind of all the governance and visibility, including maybe report generation, approvals that have to happen in a model's lifecycle. So those are the different existing stakeholders, and two new roles start to emerge to help organize in the large enterprise around this ModelOps capability, start to organize the actions of these to get enterprise AI going. One is the enterprise AI architect, someone who really has all the relationships with these constituent stakeholders and subject matter experts, and can design the model lifecycle for all the various models through model factory all the way to production, with the accountability to the business for every model in the enterprise. And again, and so that becomes an important role in terms of overall organization and planning, architecture, and designing the engineering activities. And then the ModelOps role. If we have 1,000 or 10,000 or 20,000 models, all serving different lines of business, different types of KPIs, different kinds of technical requirements and affinity, that there needs to be a central nerve center where if any of those model breaks, there's a place where we can, a model ops, an ops capability can easily mobilize all the various folks. Oh, maybe this is a model is not running correctly in the cloud. Let's get the IT ops folks involved. Or a new model has to come along with a particular type of binding to the underlying infrastructure. Let's get the DevOps involved. Or, you know, maybe the champion challenger for a model in production really has to have approval from the data science, et cetera. So model ops can really make sure that that full life cycle that the enterprise architect designed is operational on a daily basis. And when we put that all together, the ModelOp Center becomes a very concrete asset for not only these newer roles, like the enterprise AI architect who can interact with ModelOp Center almost as an architect would interact with a CAD program, right? Create concrete assets. We have a low-code business process management framework that allows the enterprise architect to articulate and automate, all the way down to automation, the full business and technical lifecycle of every single model in the enterprise. That becomes a very concrete asset for the, and allows not only the ultimate scaling and automation of AI in the enterprise over time, but also becomes very, increases the ability for the various stakeholders to interact with the life cycle in a very concrete way. And then the ModelOps capability can leverage ModelOps Center as this single pane of glass to see exactly where everything is, for all the models, where they're running, what their lineage is, what their history is, who is responsible for what models during their life cycle, so they can really coordinate and organize any activities to ensure that the enterprise AI journey is scaling, automating, and being both efficient and safe for the entire life cycle of the models.